Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video, and I'm going to talk about some newly shown items from Star Wars at New York Toy Fair 2019. And this time I'm going to be talking about like the 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures that relate to Jabba the Hutt and the Palace and everything that's coming out for him. There's quite a few new like additions to your kind of 3 3/4 inch collection that relate to Jabba the Hutt, which is exciting for me because I'm a huge Jabba the Hutt fan. Like the big things that I like in the Star Wars franchise are like Jabba the Hutt and all his palace and everything with him, as well as General Grievous and the battle droids and things like that. So like there are certain like aspects of Star Wars that I really cling on to, especially figure wise. Jabba is one of those, so I am quite excited to see all the new stuff coming out for Jabba the Hutt. Now they are doing his large barge, obviously. Like they needed signatures for people pledging to like purchase that item, and they got like 5,000 or whatever, enough to make them actually go into production on the item. And we get updates on that every now and then. But it looks like there's a couple of accessories that you can buy to kind of go with your Jabba the Hutt collection. I would assume to kind of prepare for that large sail barge that's coming out. But yeah, let's get into it. And they are done in like a vintage style packaging, which I think is kind of fun. It's cool, you know, not super necessary, but it's neat. But here's like the box for the one of them. And it's Jabba's Palace, essentially. So it's just kind of like a section of his palace. It's basically where Leia unfreezes Han, which is interesting. And here it is. You know, I have really mixed feelings about this because, first off, I really like the kind of idea of having like a palace kind of set up and having like a just cardboard one, like an actual plastic one. I think is really cool and everything. It's just, I don't know why they would have gone with this section of it, because it's Han in the carbonite section. I would have much rather had the backdrop for Jabba, because I have a really nice Jabba the Hutt display with where he sits and everything, but a backdrop for it is something I don't have. So I would have loved to see that. Now, you know, just based on the size here, you could just put him in front of it and just treat this like his backdrop. And if I do get this, I'll probably end up doing that, to be quite honest. But nonetheless, I think it's a neat idea. Having the archways are cool. The detailing on the actual structure itself doesn't look great to me. It looks really simple. So that's disappointing. I would have liked to see a little bit more detail there and some more shading going on throughout it. Otherwise, because it just looks very clean and just kind of cream colored, it doesn't look like there's much detail there, which is disappointing. And I'm unsure if you get any figures with this set. I think that you might get that Han and that guard, but I'm not sure. Like that guard isn't even pictured on the box, and I did see something that shows you that you can buy the Han and the carbonite piece separate, I think. So I'm unsure with what you're actually going to get when you purchase that set. There is a 3-pack coming out of Jabba's guards, which normally I'd be all for, but unfortunately it looks like a lot of these are just repacks. Let's see if we get a better shot. Okay, we just get close-up shots. Well, first of all, this guy right here, I believe that he's already been released. Nothing special because I already have it too, which is disappointing. This one has absolutely been released, and he looks exactly like this. They didn't. He doesn't even have any different paint, it looks like, or anything, which is disappointing. Now the guard up front, I don't believe that this guard has been released. I think that this is like a new guard for this pack, because I do not have this guard. So this is a nice one to get, but it's just a little unfortunate. I mean, you can kind of army build them because there's obviously several guards that are of the same race in Jabba's in his gain, essentially. So you could kind of just reuse the same figures and kind of army build them a bit. But one of the things I like is to have just as many guards as I can for Jabba's set that all look different though. So it would just, I don't know if I want to get guards that are the same. But this guard is cool. I wish that the other ones at least had different colors on them. But unfortunately they don't. And here's a close-up. As you can see, it's looking plain. Like there's some fair detail in like the rock structure of the this palace piece, but it's not painted well, so it just looks cheap, which is unfortunate. With some good paint, this could be a nice set. Because sculpting is pretty good, just paint's really lacking. Disappointing. And you know, I'm sure that it's accurate, so don't get me wrong by saying it's not accurate, but I don't remember like the animals on either side of the carbonite Han Solo, like the This isn't a Wampa. Oh, it's a Toto, something like that. Whatever Han Solo and Luke ride in Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, I don't remember those creatures being on the wall, but I'm sure it is accurate. Now, one thing that I'm really interested in is the kind of the sail kind of piece that kind of accompanies his massive like barge. This is cool. I like to see this. I like also how it's displayed. I like that you have like a sand base, and then it has clear plastic poles that are holding it up, so it's like levitating. I think that's quite cool, and it looks like it is completely in scale with the 3 3/4" line. It looks like you can fit a lot of figures on there, and I think that this would be a really cool way to display them. Now, my only thing that's disappointing that I'm surprised that they didn't like show is it would be really cool if there's an attachment piece, like another piece that you can buy that's a part of the base that like goes here and wraps around, and it's like a massive circle thing, and it fills in this section, and it's the Sarlacc pit. That would have been really cool. I would have enjoyed that quite a bit. But nonetheless, I think that just the standalone piece is really nice. I might get this. I believe it's $40, if I'm not mistaken, which isn't terrible, to be honest. And I think that it would look great in a display. And I have the figures to fill it out, so I think it could be very cool. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying these new Jabba the Hutt kind of accessory pieces, I'll call it, that are kind of coming out to, I guess, accompany the new sail barge that's being made. And there's definitely some cool stuff. And I do kind of like the vintage style packaging. I think that that's fun as well. So there you go. That's my thoughts on these new figures from Star Wars, the vintage line. Let me know what you guys think of them, and thanks so much for watching.